Hello, students. Today I'll be talking about morphology. It's a study of form of words. A morpheme is the smallest part of the word. Now let's see what is it. If I write a word over here like hand, can I break it further? Probably I can't. On the other hand, if I write the word handful, can I break it further? Yes, of course. I can break it into handful. Now, this means this word is comprised of two parts, handful. Now, this also means a word may have more than one parts. Now, morphemes are the smallest part of the word. Now, this also means because we cannot divide hand further, it's not divisible further, right? This can be considered one morph or one word because this is the smallest unit. Whereas in the word handful, we've got two morphs, hand and full. So we have one morph here, another morph here. Morphemes have different types. Let's talk about them. Let me clear all markings. Let's go ahead. Types of morphemes. We have four types of morphemes on this slide: bound morphemes, free morphemes, derivational morphemes, and inflectional morphemes. Now, what is a bound morpheme? Bound morphemes are the one which cannot stand on their own. If I write here on im, fullness, do you understand anything? Probably you don't. But if I add another morphemes like happy, possible, help, carelessness, now all of them are meaningful. Why? Because they have been combined with free morphemes. Now, this means bound morphemes are the one which cannot stand on their own. So, if I remove happy, possible, remove help, remove, care, so lessness, full, im, un, they are meaningless. So, they are the one which we call bound morphemes because they cannot stand on their own. I hope you have also understood what are free morphemes. Free morphemes are the one which can stand on their own. For example, happy, sad, for example, possible. Even if I remove unimness in case of sadness, right? I remove these morphemes, right? They can stand on their own. They are meaningful. They don't need any other morph, right? Okay, to be meaningful. So they are called free morphemes. Free morphemes can be divided in two categories. Now let me explain, those types. The first one is lexical And the second one is functional, right? Now, the word class, like nouns, like adjectives, like verbs, are basically lexical morphemes. Why are they called lexical morphemes? Because we can have as many nouns as possible in a language, or as many adjectives as possible in a language, or we can have as many verbs as possible in a language, especially in English language. Now, this means if there is a pool of nouns, right? Let's suppose if in English, let's suppose, right? Just imagine in English we have 100 nouns. The chances are that we may have some 20 more nouns in upcoming, years or days whatsoever. And then some more nouns, maybe 20, 200, 1,000 whatsoever in coming days, right? Or yes, after the first edition, right? So that means there is no limit. We can have as many nouns as possible in the language or in a language, or we can have as many adjectives as possible in a language, as many verbs as possible in a language. Especially, I'm right now talking with reference to English. So in English language, if I put it in the right way. All right. On the other hand, functional words are the words or the category of the word class, okay, which do not allow any sort of addition in the category, right? Or such words are prepositions, right? So it's prepositions, okay, and we have pronouns, conjunctions, articles, right? So that means the words like of, at, the, right? They usually cannot expand their category, right? Okay, that means we cannot actually expand, rather we can't expand their category, right? So they are limited. So we cannot have, more prepositions, okay, in a language. They are limited, right? They are the one which probably cannot be expanded, right? So such words are called basically functional words because they cannot be expanded. We cannot have more and more prepositions. Yes, we cannot have more and more prepositions in English, right? Uh, in the existing pool, right? So let's suppose if we have 100 prepositions, we cannot have 101 or 102 or 130. We cannot have more. They would remain 100 irrespective of language expansion, right? Language may evolve, the language may change, language may have more and more verbs, nouns, adjectives, right? But it probably may not have, right, more prepositions or conjunctions or articles because they are functional words. All right, please let me make it clear that at the moment we're talking about, when I say the language may have, I mean English, right? At the moment, right? Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about derivational morphemes. Let me clear all of this first. Now, you already know what are bound morphemes, right? Okay, and I gave you examples of these morphs like ness, full, and there is one more, less, right? Okay. Now, derivational morphemes are basically bound morphemes, but they are the one which change the class of a word. Now, for example, help is a verb. So this word belongs to this category or this class, that is verb. If I add help, full to help, right? If I combine help and full together, right? Okay. Now, helpful would changed or would be called or change into an adjective. Now, this means this more full has changed help, right, into another category. Because help was, before full was added to it, help was a verb. Now it's an adjectives. So these morphs basically change the category of a word. So they change, verb into nouns and nouns into adjectives and adjectives into verbs whatsoever, right? Okay, so normally they change the category, right? So if I write over here care, this is a verb, right? I care for you, all right? And if I add less, the morph less to the free morph, the bound morph less to the free morph care, right? It becomes a noun. So what does that mean? It means that less is a derivational morph. Why? Because it changes the category of the free morph, which it was a verb basically before this less morph was added to it. So careless is a new word which is a noun. So care as the basic verb, as a free morph, right? It belonged to another the category of a verb, or it belonged to the verb category basically, right? And when we added less to this one, right, it changed into what? A noun. So that means that if I put it in the simplest manner, bound modes would change the category of a word or another morph or a free morph, right, are called derivational morphs or morphemes. Now let's talk about inflectional morphemes. Let me clear all of this. Okay, if I write over here the word boy and then I add s to it, it would become boys. Now we know that this is a noun and this is singular. This is also a noun, but this is plural. Now, when we add s, it indicates that it is plural. Now, this means that here we have got two morphs. One is the free morph, another is inflectional, or it is a bound morph but inflectional. Why inflectional? Because it changes the grammatical meaning of the word boys, boy, right? Because it changes it into boys. It indicates this addition of s indicates that we're talking about a plural noun now, right? So any sort of addition of a morph, right, which indicates that there is a change in the grammatical meaning, right? That is basically inflectional. That is called inflectional morpheme, right? Okay, or that is basically an inflectional morpheme, right? Let's go ahead now. Here we have another important concept in morphology, and that is of allomorphs. Now, if you just look at these three examples, what is common here? If you think for a while, you might say that S, they all have S, so S is common among all these examples. So we have S here, S here, S here, here also. And another common thing about them is that they all are plural because S indicates that they are plural because S is an inflectional morph because it's changing the grammatical meaning of these words like cat becomes when we add s, cat is singular, it becomes what? Plural. Fine. But they are different also from each other in terms of their pronunciation. So here we could say cats, okay, fine, cups, fine, rocks, fine. But here we cannot say horses, it's horses, bushes, judges, right? So horses, bushes, judges. So here we have is sound, right? Here we have s sound. Dogs, here we have z sound. So we can see that this morphs, this morph has got three sounds, right? Now, all morphs which have three different sounds, especially the inflectional one, I'm not talking about the derivational one. All inflectional morphs which have more than one pronunciation, more than one pronunciation, right? That is called an allomorph. So here S, which is a morph. Which morph? Inflectional morph. Why inflectional morph? Because when we add s to the free morph, right, it indicates that it is plural. It changes the grammatical meaning, right? Okay. So s is an inflectional morph, but this s has got three different sounds, right? It has got three different pronunciations, right? Okay, and that are cats, s, horses is, dogs, z. So this means this s is what? An allomorph. Let me clear all of this. Let's go ahead and have a look at some more examples here. Now, if you just pay attention to these three words, one thing which is common over here is ed, Another thing which is common here that they all are past actions or state, right? So that means they indicate the past tense. Okay, fine. But what you really need to note over here that how are they pronounced or how they are pronounced. It's walked, duh. It's smelled, duh. It's ended, id. So that means this inflectional morph has got three pronunciations or three sounds, right? So this means this is allomorph. Now, why is this inflectional? This is also important because this indicates the past tense. So if I write woke, basically I am talking about present tense. If I want to talk about past tense, I got to add ed, which is an inflection. Why inflection? Because it tells us about, the grammatical change here, right? Or the change in the grammatical meaning, basically, right? So, and so this ed is what? Inflectional morph. And because this ed has got three sounds, the, id, right? This is called an allomorph. I hope you have understood it. If you have any query, you can ask me during my online session, right? Have a nice time. Take care of yourself. Bye.